Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Everything Paranormal Show. I'm your host, Josh Morris, and Stacy Talich. And joining us tonight, we have a very special guest, star of Season of the Witch, a good friend of ours, Ronda Caudill. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be on the show, and I just look forward to chatting with you. It's been a while, so it's going to be fun.
I know it's been a while, so I know Terry Lynn was happy that you were going to be on here. She's probably going to be joining us in the chat here shortly.
Good.
And also too, so I want to dive right in because we probably have a lot to talk about. The show generally runs about an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. So and there's Terry Lynn popping in. Lori, forgive me if I mess up. Yanni, is it Yanni? Okay, but they said hi, Rhonda, hi guys, hi Terry Lynn, hey everyone. So Rhonda, you are a person of many things. You are a co-owner and executive of your Shadow Work Productions, like filming and things, a psychic, along with SRS Paranormal, and also a Reiki master and psychic with the Sister of Magic and Wonders, and much more. You also do publishing. You're a mother, and you have a good husband, and you're a happily married kind of thing. You got kids, all kinds of stuff. So why don't you tell us a little bit more overall that I might have missed?
I think you pretty much covered it all.
I try to get as much as I can. You had a list there, so
Yeah.
But oh, go ahead.
Like you said, I am co-owner in Shadow Work Productions. We're working on trying to finish up a documentary that we did at Randolph County Infirmary. That, gosh, I think it was last March. That we're down to the editing phases of that, so we're hoping to have that out soon. And SRS Paranormal, which was part of this documentary. And then we have a publishing company, and we're published with Pat O'Keefe and Missy and Ashley Connor, a book about the sisterhood of Magic and Wonders, which is the psychic trip on that. And that leads us to this documentary, Season of the Witch, which was directed, produced by Jerry Sword and Terrell Lee, and also Pat O'Keefe and Misty and Ashley Connor, the co-stars in the documentary. So we're really excited. We got to see the preview a couple. Let's see, it was back in August, late August, and when it was over, Jerry sitting there all a bundle of nerves and said, "So what did you guys think?" And nobody was saying anything. We're just speechless. And he said, "I'm really, is this a good thing or a bad thing?" We're like, "No, it's a good thing." So we were really excited to see that it exceeded our expectations. We knew it was going to be good. We trusted him, and so we thought, this is going to be really good. But it turned out much better than we thought. But yeah, and then I have the Nickerson Senior House in late spring, and Lord, I think that's it. I don't know. I'm a grandmother now. I have 4 grandkids, so add that to the mix. So.
Yeah, well, so Season of the Witch. Now, I personally have not seen it yet. It's on our to-do list. We just, again, haven't had time to watch any movie. It's kind of like we were trying to watch a few other movies we have saved that had came out. We're like, oh, we're going to watch that. And we were going to sit down. We just never have time to watch movies, but we have them. We're like waiting. So I know Terry Lynn was wanting to watch as well. Now Stacy's watched it. He's got a chance to watch Season of the Witch. And for you folks that don't know about this documentary on Amazon Prime, I mean, you can own it, you can buy it or rent it for a couple bucks. It's definitely going to be worth it. I've talked to Stacy about it. I'll let him probably talk a little bit and share some of his thoughts. We're going to ask you some more questions. First, folks, I want to give you guys a little taste. I actually pulled up the trailer for Season of the Witch, one of the trailers. So let's check that out real quick. If I can. Here we go. I'll keep us. Here we go.
The film Witch Trials was one of the most notorious times in witch history. It has a dark history that's behind it. They make deals with the devil and with Satan. On the devil. The devil's tempting you. They can look all through your head. They were screaming all the while. Women are more likely to be in cahoots with the devils. And so the witchcraft craze of Salem, Massachusetts began.
All right, well there you guys go. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody, when we started this video today, I wanted to make sure you guys kind of seen what it looks like, so you know that this is not just. I mean, this is pretty good level from what I see. I really like some of the cinematography I've seen in it. Of course, I had a chance to also meet the gentleman that was behind the camera a lot. I got a chance to meet him earlier before you guys had released that, because I run into a lot of people. It's a small town, and he had showed me some of the work, and it was amazing. Like I really enjoyed that. So I can't wait to look forward to see it. So Rhonda, tell me, what was your experience filming that?
It brought out a lot of emotion, I think, for all of us, especially when we discussed the bias and the oppression, and when we discussed the Salem witch trials, it talked about treatments that were used to try to coax confessions, and it was very emotional on that subject area, but it was a lot of fun for us to film. We really enjoyed discussing our history, kind of the way we are, how we got there. I can't tell too much, but without going a little bit.
Right.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, more so for Jerry and Phil, but it was a lot. It was a lot of fun too. So it was interesting because none of us had done anything like this, the girls and I, but it was a passion of love, I think, for all of us. It was a baby that was close to all of our hearts.
Yeah. Now, so all in all, how many hours would you say that you really had to spend kind of like on the set? Like what scope of the project did it really entail for you as far as size wise?
For us, gosh, I don't even know. I'd hate to guess. Honestly, it was a lot of hours because we were on different locations. We were actually on 4 or 5, maybe 6 different locations at different times, and we spent, an entire day. One location or one filming. We were on 3 different locations, and it took. God, let's see. We started at like 9 o'clock that morning, and we were finished like at 11. And it took all day. Just one. So we did a lot. I couldn't even. I'd be afraid to guess at the hours, honestly. And Gary has put in a lot more he and Terrell on the editing side. I don't even want to.
Well, I'm gonna ask you one more question about the film, and then I want to start getting into a little bit of your actual like say beliefs or your practices and things like that, psychic stuff, witchcraft maybe stuff. Like I said, I'm gonna let Stacy kind of take the realm on some of this. So these are some of my first initial questions, and I'm gonna kind of hand the wheel over to Stacy on some of that fun stuff there we're going to talk about. So my last question on the film, because I really wanted to make sure we get people to understand, this is first of all, you need to go support this film. I mean, even though you may not be local here to our local area, but it's, anytime people, that was weird. That was like a whistly thing. But anytime people do things in, like people that and like what I call local things, you should support those as well, and instead of running always, trying to invest in the big, Hollywood machine. So definitely go out, support this film. But my last question on the film thing is, so tell us, how did this kind of come about? Like, where was this idea for this documentary? Where was that born, and how did that come to fruition?
I think Jerry had been talking to Terrell about a project, a unique project. I don't know how much they had discussed in which direction they were going before Jerry approached me and said, "Look, I got an idea for a film. I was wanting to give me some insight. You're the first person I thought of." I said, "Sure." So we had a meeting, and I gave him all kinds of information. I said, "You can come here at the Nickerson Seed House if you want." Um, and I have some other ladies that you probably would want to talk to that can give you some information. And the next thing I know, I don't even think it was a full 24 hours, and he had said he wanted to go in the direction of having us actually do the test and the so that's kind of how it progressed. We the initial meeting was last June, I think, and we got to screen it for the first time late August this year. So it was over a year in the making. I would like to mention this before we skip over to something else. Would like to you were talking about supporting local film directors and stuff. Would like to also give a huge shout out to Legacy Theater in Bristol, Virginia. They are airing the documentary um, for us, and that's our premiere will be there, and we will all be there at the premiere. So if you'd like to meet any or all of us, we'll be there that night, and I'd love to have everyone come out and see it on the big screen because I think it's going to be a lot different than it is um, on YouTube. It is streaming on Prime. It is on Max now, and Red works with some other things. So just be on the lookout.
Nice. Well, and you know, I heard about the private showing, and so if people need more details, can they? Is there a web like a Facebook page or anything?
They could just Google Legacy Theater, and I think you can actually buy your tickets online.
Okay. All right. So sorry about that. I was just addressing something here. Sorry about that. I just sent you a message, Stacy. I think your audio was like, when Ronda was talking, it was kind of messing with her audio a little bit. When you muted it earlier, her audio cleared up even better. So, yeah, it must be mixing it weird, like StreamYard. I just thought I'd let you know.
Volume's low, so I keep turning it up. So,
right, that's okay. We'll just clarify some technical issues, folks. All right. So, okay. Well, I'm going to hand things over to Stacy and let you start diving into some good juicy stuff for, the fun stuff.
Uh-huh. Well, I first heard about the movie through my wife on Facebook because she has one of her friends is your cousin Tammy.
Oh yeah.
And Tammy happens to be the honey. For Christ's sake. Anyway, Tammy happens to be married to my brother-in-law.
Okay.
So I guess that kind of makes us related. So, in that regard, but I saw the movie. It looks really good. It's like Discovery level cinematography. The B-roll. I don't know where this guy found all that B-roll, but it's crazy that with all the witch stuff that I'd never seen before. I've been doing the occult and witchcraft and Santeria and Palo Mayombe and hoodoo now for the better part of 35 years. And, anything that has that kind of niche to it, I'm all over it. And I'd never seen a lot of this B-roll that he was running. So, that was refreshing in reality because it wasn't recycled stuff that, Discovery runs every single time they do anything on witchcraft. They always run the same B-roll. So this is, refreshing in that regard.
I think some of that, I'm not going to swear to it, don't quote me on it, but I think some of that he said had just been released to public domain during the editing of the film, and they were able to add that in. So some of it's fairly new to the public domain.
Well, it's good, and everybody needs to go see it because it's really educational, it's entertaining, and uh, on that level, it was really refreshing. It's not like watching the same old stuff that you see on TV all the time. I was really surprised that it's on Amazon and not on Discovery or something like that because it has that same cinematography, that quality to it. It doesn't look like it was made from a garage like most channels do nowadays. The shaky cam and all that other stuff. It was very well done. So
thank you. But yeah, that's why I said we were. It exceeded our expectations. We knew it was going to be good, but we did not have any idea that it was going to be this quality.
Well, you guys hit it out of the park. I did want to ask you, in the movie, you outright say that you're involved with Reiki. You're a Reiki master, and you do hoodoo, which is in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I wanted to find out from you on, because there's a lot of different kinds of hoodoo out there. There is Appalachian hoodoo, and then there's Southern hoodoo, and voodoo, and which is a religion unto itself. But I wanted to get an idea of where you're at in hoodoo and in the way that you practice.
Right. It's the Appalachian hoodoo. That's where we all kind of pull from that. I don't think Pat does, but Missy and Ashley and I, especially Missy, we all kind of pull from that. I really, I guess what I think of, what I pull most from that are the puppet dolls. I love those. Those are my favorite go-to. And actually, we're doing magic classes. We teach at the Nickerson Sneak House a lot. That is what I'm teaching at the next class is the puppet dolls. Because that is kind of, it's really diverse because they use it. Well, no, I guess. Well, in the Salem witch trials, in Salem back in the day, I'm sure that Tituba had probably taught them how to use the puppet dolls because she was a slave and had probably brought some of that with her. And then of course, the slaves brought a lot of that here to the Appalachian Mountains, and it is a boiling pot of different magics in this area because we had the Irish bringing their beliefs, their pagan beliefs, and then we had the Germans and the English. Everyone brought their magical beliefs, and it just kind of made this huge melting pot of a raw, untouched, eclectic magic in this area. And it's pretty much like it was then. It's not been diluted really.
Okay. Well, some hoodoo practices, they make their own spells with their own words. Some actually they don't use their own words. They use the Book of Psalms. There's a lot that, well, in the South, they actually refer to the Book of Psalms as a book of shadows because it's a spell book inside the Bible with all of the way that they, like, especially in pregatory psalms, like, may his father be, or may his wife be a widow, may his, sons be orphans, things like that. In the Book of Psalms, they use in their spell casting in hoodoo, and it's, I don't do that. I'm a Palomyambe priest, so I'm outside of all of that. I don't even know if you know what that is. It's what sometimes they refer to as the dark side of Santeria, which has nothing to do with Santeria, but that's the moniker that people gave it. Some books came out like that, and whatever. But I teach hoodoo courses on Udemy, and a lot of what I teach are the honey jars and the sour jars and how to petition and all of that kind of good stuff, and even some ways of protecting your home from hauntings and curses and spiritual baths and all these kinds of things that that I can teach online that I'm not required to actually teach in person. Some things have to be taught in person, and Hoodoo is really good for doing stuff online. I would suggest it. If you're gonna teach courses, you might as well, record stuff and do it online.
Yeah, we're actually just in the process of getting all that set up.
Cool.
Next set of magic classes, but we do petitions. We write our own spells. We do the honey jars and the sour jars. We, like I said, we pull from. I say I'm eclectic, and the girls are. I don't know if that's what they actually call themselves. Pat does, but we pull a little bit, pull magic from a little bit of everywhere and make it our own. Because I think it is everything is useful. Every magical belief is useful, and whether or not because I don't, of course, like in voodoo that you have all this, and some of the root magic you have like sacrificing chickens and stuff. I'm not all about that at all. So that part I would never touch. But so I pull what feels good to me, and the girls do the same.
Well, that's good. I mean, in Hoodoo, I mean, you really your conjuring can come right off the spice rack. You don't need
kitchen witchery.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that you can use that you normally would buy for, doing a good meal. Cayenne pepper and some oregano can do some really powerful magical stuff. But do you do any? Have you ever done anything with animal parts like cow tongue, pig brain, anything like that?
I have to say I don't eat animal products, so I can't do that.
Yeah, well,
that's too bad. Like I'm opposite. I eat animal products, and I don't eat all the other stuff.
You're good doing that, Josh. You do.
That's all right. Now, I wanted to interject here real quick because you had said something about all types of magic, right? And that they have a place. So, and right now I'm actually in the middle of doing a intention experiment. It's pretty cool from Masawa Emoto, his rice experiment. So I'm kind of recreating that right now and doing some intention. So we're going to be doing some of those things. But would you say that all these different forms of magical properties, like say from the Irish, the magic that they brought from the old country, all these different places, Germany stuff. Do you think that the universal backing to that is really that sort of intent and energy?
Oh, absolutely. I wholeheartedly believe that no matter what magic you practice, it all comes down to intent. It's what you put into it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was just something we were talking about on the last show, especially we were talking about intent and the universe and energy and projecting stuff, putting positive, negative, things like that out there. So I just want to throw it in there. So Stacey, you can, ask.
I will say this: the intent for this documentary, the girls and I have done a lot of casting and a lot of pushing for this, and we were surprised at how quickly things progressed. Things just happened. It snowballed. Once it was finished, and Jerry started making contacts with people to watch it, it snowballed. And we have pushed really hard. And I know that Jerry and Terrell, not magical people, but they had that intent and they were trying their best, and they just knew this was going to be a great thing. And with all of us pushing and putting that intent out there, it really surprised us at how quickly things kind of fell in place.
Yeah, and I don't think that sometimes people, just regular people, I don't think they realize sometimes that, but by them wanting something, putting something out there in the universe so hard, even praying for it, things like that, that they are almost conducting a form of magic.
They are, and they have no idea. And it's both positive and negative. I mean, if they are sending out negative vibes enough, they're going to cause negative events and a lot of that comes back on you. And we are total believers in karma return.
Yeah.
So, I
We
mean,
talked about karma on the last show.
God, what you put out, you get back. So we always try to put out the best that we can put out and never, ever do negative magic. And we'll do protection magic is about as negative as we get. But, and just being a good person in general, people are just sometimes just nasty. And I'm thinking, you put all this nastiness out there, you're getting that back. That's why you're so miserable. Be nice every once in a while and see what you get.
Yeah, I mean, you reap what you sow. I mean, how
Exactly.
many different cliches do you need in order to get it? And a lot of people don't. They just get caught up into themselves and in the moment. It's really bad. I don't know whether it's just because I'm getting old and crusty that these kids these days, they just don't understand. But to me it seems like there's a whole new level of narcissism out there, that these people send this stuff out, and then it comes back, and then they blame everybody else for it.
Exactly.
It's not how you move forward. You do it by serving. I mean, Elon Musk said, you want to make $1 billion, make something that serves 1 billion people, and you'll get it there. You can sell it for $1 and you get $1 billion. I mean, that's the business way of saying it, but you do it by serving other people. You do it by putting out good stuff. And,
So I also want to throw in there too. So you would probably, I guess, categorize yourself as a good witch. Is that what you would probably say? Because they always say like there's good witch, bad witch, right?
Tell me, Glenda.
Or like you're whatever it needs. So I don't know. So you said you are like a good witch.
I guess a white witch is what you would. I never really categorized myself before, but I guess that would. Yeah.
So what I mean, and I know like so here one thing I want you guys, maybe even both of you guys, to talk about a little bit is for regular folks that are outside of say witchcraft and things and don't know, and they just see the symbolisms, they just see and hear things, and they have the movies and they don't quite grasp the full idea of what say witchcraft can be. A lot of people think, okay, are you serving the devil? Is this what is this exactly? And because sometimes they're afraid of it, they're like they see the symbolism, maybe pentacles, things like that, and they're like, oh my god, that's like the devil. And there's so much fear, but at the same time some people they see that, and there seems to be a movement here lately. I'm seeing a lot more things that I would never have seen in stores about witchcraft, that so there has been a more later movement, and more commercial, more mainstream at times. So I just wanted to maybe let you guys talk a little bit of maybe clarify some of that for me, or for us, or for people.
I think that is a common misconception, and that is totally not. And I don't know about you, Stacy, but most us, we believe, and I think a lot of witches that we come in contact with believe that it's not really a devil or a Satan, that it's negative energy. We believe in positive and negative energies, and of course we do believe that there's a divine something greater. We do have deities that we will, I guess, worship. It would be the best term to use, but right, and that changes according to your life and what's going on, and different deities will draw you to them. Right now, I am working with Hecate, so it will change throughout your life. You may stay with one deity the entire time, and then you may be drawn to others.
yeah, I mean, that's the a lot of the American adaptations. That's very common. The Palo, Mayombe, and Santeria, and a lot of the Caribbean religions that came over during the slave trade were pretty much remained intact. Voodoo in New Orleans and voodoo in Haiti are two different animals. It's even though they're called voodoo, they have entirely different practices because of when they landed in America and the way the slave trade forced them to hide their stuff. In New Orleans, they were forced to hide it more than they were in Haiti. So it's more of a natural from Africa kind of thing in Haiti. Palo Mayombe is in that same camp where it's, there it's goes back 6,000 years unbroken because of the slave trade. Honestly, if the slave trade hadn't come about, a lot of these religions that we know that come from Africa would no longer exist. The way that Islam and the Christian religion moved into Africa, the the missionaries, they were wicked, violent in forcing people to stop practicing their religions in Africa, and a lot of them died out. They're extinct in Africa. You only have a few pockets left in, say, West Africa and the Congo. Even in the Congo, it's starting to fade because of the missionaries that are there. They have a lot of witch persecutions are going on right now in the Congo. They're going after children. That was actually in your documentary. It's in there that talks about this.
Really bad.
Yeah, when they came over in the slave trade, they were actually able to be preserved intact, like under glass, essentially. And even a lot of the Spanish and white men are actually being converted into it and carrying it on because it actually has so much in philosophy and in knowledge, raw knowledge that just you cannot find anywhere else. And this isn't, I mean, we didn't bring you on to here talk about me, but it's the difference being is that some of these traditions still exist as is, in the missionaries in Islam was not able to wipe it completely out, as your testimony to that. You're carrying it on as it and passing it on to others, just the way it's been generationally.
Now TJ Shelton, I wanted to throw in here too. She said in the chat, she said, just want to say not all witches are Wiccan.
I'm
so
not.
right. Do you want to clarify that, Rhonda, for us? Like when she said that, so again, I think people look at Wiccan and witches hand in hand, but you're of course saying no, you're not. So can you clarify that a little bit? Expand on that.
Wiccan was actually, I don't know a lot about it. I don't practice it. I believe Gerald Gardner kind of, I don't want to say created, but kind of made, took it from, is it paganism, I guess, in the 60s or the 50s. And this is where the Wiccan actually began, I believe. But Stacey, you might be able to clarify that a little more. But I don't.
Correct.
Modern witchcraft, what we practice is old and raw and still in its almost original form. But Wiccan is a modern day practice.
Have you? Now I'm just thinking about it. Have you read any of Reverend Hyatt's books? He's got 5 volumes on hoodoo that he wrote during the Great Depression. He traveled around. He got a commission from the church to document, hoodoo and conjure essentially throughout America, focusing primarily in the Appalachia and in the South, Mississippi and Louisiana. And he wrote 5 volumes that look like the Encyclopedia Britannica. The font is really teeny, tiny, small, and it's that thick. And he's got 5 books like that. The first 2 are hard to find; they're out of print. But the last 3, I mean, I've got those. They're easy to find on Amazon anytime you want. But they repeat themselves a lot because he's talking to a lot of people, and they talk about a lot of the same spells that they use. You do this, then this was what happens. You do that, that's what this has happened. And he writes it down in the way that it's spoken. He doesn't edit anything, so you get all of the accents of the way that the twang in the language, because he just writes it down direct as it was said to him. And it's it's a crazy. There's no way you're going to get through it unless you read the entire encyclopedia. It's one of those volumes that you just cannot get through, but it has a lot of information in it that is basically kept for posterity of people that aren't even around anymore. So
now let's talk about real quick some practical tools that you see a lot of people, different tools of things that you can use. Like you can do tarot readings, right? If you do tarot, now do you consider that tarot readings probably separate? I'm sure, but different tools. Do you use any Ouija boards, seances? What type of tools do you like to use for maybe the spiritual aspect of things, like communication to the spirits?
I do. I love the spirit board. That's one of the first tools I ever used. And tea leaf readings, table tipping, which was handed down from my grandmother.
Is it like tasseography or something like that?
That's tea leaf readings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The table tipping was handed down from my grandmother, and I love table tipping. I use a seance trumpet during the seances. I have used the tarot cards, and I can. It's not what I'm pulled to. I do palm reading and ink scrying, dowsing rods and pendulums, pretty much the whole gambit. I don't do the bones. I don't. That's Ashley's. She does the bones. Drawing the bones. That's not my forte.
Yeah, I find that fascinating. I've had a bone reading once, and it's crazy. That was years ago, but yeah, most of the readings that I participate in deal with shells.
There's one of the boards there that Terry Lynn had done there. This one here is one of the ones that she's got the crystal up here embedded, and this is one of the ones that I don't know if you can see. Oh yeah, this is one. She embedded some lights in there too.
See, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, and a lot of them she's been doing here lately. The lettering, she's been using a lot of glow in the dark paints as well, so that way you kind of get even a bonus effect. She'll do the glow in the dark for like inside the layers, like some of the smoky effects. Mm-hmm. So even when you do the lights off, you can still turn the lights on, or if you don't have the light up boards, they're not all light up. But even the normal boards, she's been doing some of the glow-in-the-dark paints, and we got some black light ones too that react to either black light or glow-in-the-dark too. So, but that's one of the ones she wanted me to show you when you came on. So, I know we sold a bunch. We pretty much sold out of our stock like when we went to CreepyCon, but now we're like, she's been trying to. In fact, she's in the studio right now watching us and like mixing resin and doing stuff, trying to like recoup our inventory and stuff. So we've made a few more. Some of them are in the works and stuff, but we got some pretty cool stuff coming out. But we'll definitely have to get with you and see what you like.
Yeah, that's fabulous. I love that board. I love the lights.
Yeah, I like the lights too. There's like some of them, like it's hard to tell on camera. Like when you see them, there's so much little. Like there's one too that she just did that. It's really pretty. It's got like a white kind of light to it, but it's got the lights. But she really found a good. She was able to kind of imitate a good smoky quartz color. So she's got one that's like almost all clear, like see-through, like smoky quartz, but then like a subtle hint of like a dark smoke in there, and it's got the kind of white lights with it, and then of course matching planchettes. So it's really cool. I said that one I would have showed you that one, but it's so clear, or you can see through it a lot. So it just doesn't look good on camera. You just have to see it in person. Like some of those are like that, but we got some other really neat ones that we're working on some other. So I don't want to give away too much. We got another one another fun. This one's not so much. I can't talk about it, but it's going to be cool. We'll show you guys on another show that are watching this, but it'll be pretty cool. So we've been crafting a lot. Well, she has been, not me. I go in every once in a while. I'll pour some like one board, and then like it takes me like forever to finish like one board. but she's in there doing all kinds of designs and coming up with cool stuff. So
That's, you said you're crafting. I don't think a lot of people, what you're doing is actually making magic. You're making these boards to communicate with the other side. People don't understand that witches do a lot of crafting. I'm working on some puppet dolls right now. Not really, they're not really puppet dolls. They're a larger version, and they'll have a spell with them to. The one I'm working on right now is an anxiety eater. It's for a friend of mine, and she'll put it in her house. And whenever she starts, having issues with anxiety, the spell will be for this doll to try to eat that and to help her deal with her anxiety. But people don't realize that we craft all the time. We do, I think, all kinds of crafting.
right.
What do you
Yeah.
usually put inside a poppet doll for, things like anxiety or I don't know, a love spell or anything of that sort? What do you usually put inside?
I'll do a love spell here for you. Okay, so roses are great. Red roses and lavender and cinnamon. And that's another thing. People will put 9,000 different herbs in a spell when you only need one or two. There's no use. I believe in not wasting. I have a ton of different herbs, really exotic herbs, hard to get herbs, expensive herbs. But I always go to my kitchen cabinet, my 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 kitchen witchery, and I'll put as few herbs as possible. I'll put what I feel is needed, but for a good luck spell, I'll throw in some roses, some lavender, and some cinnamon. I will throw in some red garnets for passion, and some pink quartz for love, and that's it. That's all you need. And then
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean that's cool, and like I said, and I know that some of you watching, if you need items and spells, I'm sure if you have to, you can always email me. I know people that can probably help get these things. So I know Stacy talked about it. I don't know if Ronda will be able to do, but guys, sometimes I know I get every once in a while I get some people asking about these things. TJ said like spells to stop bleeding or selling warts? Question mark. Awesome. Terry Lynn said she's embracing her inner witch. LOL. She's covered in glitter right now. So yeah, she's been, like I said, she's been making some really cool boards. I can't wait for you guys to see a few of these other ones that she's come up with some really cool stuff, and mostly like things to go on top of the boards and stuff too. It's just really craft some cool stuff, and we try to infuse, or I say we a lot just because I'm talking for her, but she does a lot of cool things, like trying to just really make sure to, once she does everything, but she likes to have crystals infused and everything.
You can show Rhonda this one.
Okay, I guess we can
I
debut this one.
handmade that dragon
This
right
one's-
there.
It's not domed, but you probably can't tell just yet.
Oh my God.
But you see the dragon. So she made the dragon and painted the dragon and put all the crystals in there. And so that's mounted on the board. Of course, it's like a crystal theme. This is one of our newer themes.
Okay, so is that one for sale? Because I need to message you. For this one.
Yes, it's for sale.
It'll be for sale. But this one also does have the lights as well.
Oh my God. That is so cool.
So
And it glows in the dark, Rhonda.
yeah,
I love that.
and it's a glow in the dark lettering, and of course you can see the crystal theme
And it has a matching
on the
planchette.
board. And this is like a really nice blue. I know you guys can't quite see it on the camera, but you can see the smoky layer with the white smoke around the edges. But
It
yeah,
has
this is
clear quartz and
the dragon's
amethyst.
so cool. Look at that! Look at it. He's so cool. And she put the crystal on his head, and
Clear quartz and amethyst and rose quartz for love.
but there
I
you
love
go.
that.
It's one of my favorite boards already. So
I haven't finished it yet.
I know, but she's got to dome it still and stuff too. Put that other top layer and things, but yeah, she wanted to show you the dragon, so she couldn't stand anymore. But yeah, she wanted to show you that one. But that's, like I said, we got some other stuff too. I do the dark stuff. I do dark board. I do because I'm a guy. I like to do blood and dark stuff, and so
Not real blood.
no, not real blood yet. Although I probably could have when I hurt my leg the other day, but that was bad. All right. So, but yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about that, and yeah, like crafting, it's just never ending, things like that. So, what is what's the appeal? What's the appeal for doing things like this? I know what I would say, or what, but what would you say, Rana? Because there has been sort of a, again, I can tell there's been a more of a movement. I'm seeing an increase in people. Again, I'm seeing things in stores that I normally would never have seen. I'm like, whoa, that's kind of, you know what I mean? Normally, most stores like, I'm not carrying that. Now, some of these stores are carrying some of these things that may be considered like for the devil or something, right? You know what I mean? So, what's the attraction?
Um, well, for myself, it was kind of handed down. You know, it was like I said, in the Appalachian Mountains. Most everybody here has someone in their past, their ancestry that has practiced healing, or they would call themselves healers at the time. Um, and for me, that's the big thing. It's hereditary and it's handed down, so it's close to my heart that way. But also, I like to help people, so it's a way for me to give and to help people. It's also, I think, for a lot of women, young women, it's empowering. I won't lie, I like that aspect too. It's very empowering. It gives us control over our lives. It gives us some control that we didn't have before. So it is very empowering to women. Um, and I don't want to exclude men, but they because I see an uptick in men practicing now as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't consider myself, but I obviously I'm dabbling. I'm doing tarot and I do dowsing and pendulum sessions. And although we make the boards, we haven't been using the spirit boards, but mostly because we try to always save all that energy for whoever does buy it. You know, we just try to keep it fairly neutral, and we just try to incorporate the crystals and let them sort of run with the
Right.
board and do what they need to do with it. But so, if you could, why don't you talk a little bit about the Reiki side of things with energy, and if you want to talk a little bit about that with people, let them know a little bit about Reiki.
Sure. Reiki come from Japan. It was created by Dr. Usai. He I think it was late 1880s, late 1800s, early 1900s. Can't remember the date exactly, but the story goes that he went up on this mountain because he knew that there was something he was destined to discover. He didn't know what it was. And then after fasting and being on this mountain for so many days, he discovered that it was healing power, and he called it Reiki. He trained people there, and it was brought to the U.S. later. But it is energy work. It is taking energy from the divine, letting it flow through your body and into someone else to give them healing from that energy. It is not, it's not. It's kind of like faith healing. We see religious Christians do faith healing all the time. It's kind of like that, but we believe in the great divine rather than, well, I guess you call it God, we call it the great divine, but it's kind of like faith healing. But you can learn it. You're not necessarily born with it. You can learn it, and you can use it for all aspects of your life, not just healing people. You can heal their soul. You can help them get over emotional trauma. Is not just for physical healing. You could use it for all aspects of your life. And I had something on the tip of my tongue about Reiki, and it totally left me. It'll come back in a minute.
Different parts of your body, different energy points.
Like, we use the chakra points. Then you'll do the crown and the throat. You do the third eye, the heart, the solar plexus, sacral area, and then the root chakra. And then after we cleanse all that and put healing energy in there, then we go back through and target anything in the arms or the legs or the feet or, wherever else might be issues.
Right. Now, how important do you view like crystals? I know there's been also another rise of sort of this debate here lately. There has been a small movement of people going against crystals. Now, most of those have been religious zealots that are, really extreme, and they're just like, you're the devil if you use crystals or whatever. But where do you view crystals, and how important are they in everything that you do?
Well, in Reiki, we use a selenite wand to promote healing and help get that energy to flow through. But I have crystals all over my house. I love crystals. I mean, I have this huge quartz crystal ring that I got in Lilydale when we spoke there last year, and I wear that thing all the time. I love crystals. There's a vibration for every crystal. It has its own vibration. I feel like they're kind of living, not like we think, but they have a vibration.
Right.
They have that I wear all the time because it just feels so good. It makes me feel good.
Yeah. Well, and I know, like, I don't know if you have a favorite crystal. I know me personally, I've seen it always be drawn to like clear quartz, which is what I was naturally drawn to, and with the one I always wear, my traditional one, but other ones, and I also like I like some lapis lazuli for some reason. I like this. I've always been drawn to that a little bit, but we have a big, huge crystal collection now. Like it's huge. Probably in the last, I mean, it's crazy how much crystals we have now. Like we literally, when we went to CreepyCon, we had baskets and like we sold probably over $1,000 worth of crystals easily. And that was just like stuff that we had, that we still had the stuff that Terry still has, all of the stuff on the mantle, like all her good ones, the big ones, and all kinds of cool stuff. But now, do you feel like you're drawn to a certain type, or does it just matter? Like, does it just whatever you're drawn to? But do you have like a personal kind of favorite that you seem to always be drawn to?
I think probably the clear quartz, because that is a go-to. That's a neutral crystal. You can use it for anything. When we're casting, we can throw a clear quartz into any spell to amplify it. I love clear quartz. I do like obsidian, black obsidian, and moonstone. Those are my three top crystals that I'm drawn to. Actually, I have 3 rings that are each of those that I wear a lot. So those are the 3, I guess, that I would say are my favorite.
Yeah, I think Terry Lynn says she's drawn to clear too, and I know she also likes smoky quartz for a lot. She likes clear, smoky, and I think she really seems to be drawn to like some nice amethyst, like the good deep color amethyst. Not, you know what I mean. Of course, the deeper in the color, usually the more quality amethyst. But also, I want to take a quick moment too. Jerry Sword popped in here. I'm assuming this is the Jerry you're talking about.
Yeah.
He said, congratulations on Season of the Witch, Ronda. All of you ladies did a great job, and Terrell and I are happy to have been able to write this chapter with you all. See you on the big screen. So that's awesome. I'm glad to see that he popped in here and was able to say that. So Jerry, good job. Again, I have not seen it yet. Stacy has, so I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure Terry Lynn and I will sit down and watch it one of these days here real soon. But anything you want to say back to Jerry on the show?
Just that I really appreciate the fact that he thought of me, and that when he started this project, and that the fact that he thought that the girls and I would be a good fit for the cast, and the faith that he had in us to give him what he wanted for this documentary. We really were wanting to do our best and not let him and Terrell down, because they had so much faith in us. We wanted to make sure that we gave everything we could to make this give him what he needed to make this a great documentary. And I hope we did. I hope we did what he, I hope we exceeded his expectations. I know he and Terrell exceeded ours.
Yeah, and like I said, I had met Terrell and got to see some of his work. Not just even with Season of the Witch, but just even some of his other personal videos and things like that. I talked to him because as I'm out in the community and I ran into him and we got talking, and of course, I saw his equipment, like I saw one of his cameras, and I recognized like a fluid head tripod, so I knew he wasn't just like the everyday person. So I'm like, hey, nice equipment. And I'm like, so do you do this for a living? And so we got talking, and he's a really good guy. And then he got to show me some of his like wedding work and things like that. Guy's really got an amazing eye, really good videographer and photographer. So just definitely shout out to Terrell too. So like I said, man, and I believe they have their own YouTube channel as well. They do a lot of murder investigation type documentaries, I think, or things. It's pretty cool. So
yeah, Jerry, if you haven't seen the beginning of this video, go back. We're giving it, 4 thumbs up, because it was, very well done.
I'm not giving it 8 thumbs up until I see it, but
Wow.
I'm just kidding. Like I'll probably be like, no, I'm just kidding. No, I want to see it though. I think it'll be cool. I can't wait to. Like I said, I've been wanting to. I was kind of telling myself like, I hope so. And like I said, I know when I talked to Taylor, I'm like, hey, are we, so she's like, yeah, we'll watch it. But then again, time for me is the biggest thing. I can't even watch my own things half the time. See, TJ said, I got a ticket to a Legacy Theater before I knew it was going to be on Amazon.
I want to know about the Sneed House. I'm not local, so everybody local knows about the Sneed House, but I don't know anything about it, and everybody keeps talking about it. So
that's why you should have watched my videos. I'm just kidding.
But it doesn't say everything. Here we have Ronda; she can say everything.
No, I know. No, definitely tell people about the Nickerson Sneed House.
Okay. Well, I'll get through it really quick because there's a lot of history there. The house was built. Well, there's a 2-room log cabin in the heart of the house. That cabin was built in the mid 1700s and was it was part of the fort during the Revolutionary and the French and Indian War. And the property was actually founded by Francis Kincannon, who came over from England. When he passed away, part of the property was sold to Dr. Nickerson Sneed, and he built the house that you see today around it. And he used the house as a field hospital during the Civil War, and the basement was used as a makeshift morgue during the winter months when it was too cold to bury the bodies. Because the winters were brutal and the ground was frozen solid, so they had to have somewhere to store some of those bodies. And then the Mason family owned it after the Sneeds, and they had 2 children who died in the house, Josephine and Douglas. And then we purchased the house in 2004. But the house it's got I want to say a dark history, but there's been a lot of deaths surrounding the house, which I guess has a lot to do with the hauntings there. It's every phenomenon you can imagine has happened in that house. We have had shadow figures, disembodied voices, touching. We've had whistles. We've seen full-bodied apparitions. You name it, it's been there.
It's in the movie too. Yeah, there we go. You're on mute there, Josh.
Okay, so now that I'm unmuted, now you guys can see I did a Google search for you guys so you can picture the house. And of course, this doesn't do it full justice because the house, there's more beyond what you just kind of see in that initial house. You can kind of see a little bit on the left side. It kind of goes back, but if you were to go to the right side of the house, I don't know if they have an image somewhere on here. I don't want to keep searching through
It's just under 5,000 square feet.
Right, but it's pretty big, and
Huge.
but the feeling of going in there too, you can't describe the feeling unless you go there and spend some time in there, for sure. And I got to go spend alone time in the basement. That's fun.
I will say we have had it as a museum all these years and did a haunted house there every year. Right now, we are converting it into a haunted B&B. So we will have it listed on Airbnb in the near future. We were hoping to have it up and running by October, but ran into some electrical issues and some plumbing issues. So we're pushing that to early in the year. I'm hoping by January 1st, but just keep a watch out on the Facebook page if you're interested. But the rooms we've really done a lot of work. And so I'll be surprised I'll be curious to see what you and Terry Lynn think about the changes, Josh.
Well, she already said that she was glad you turned into a B&B. Much respect. That's what she just said. So she was really happy to see that because, for us, we've always sort of had this thing about historical places being used as haunted locations and things like that. I mean, again, no offense. It was like, but we just were always kind of like, I wonder how the spirits maybe feel about that, the history of the place. But to kind of see it used in this fashion as a B&B, even with the haunted aspect, because you can never get rid of that. That's always going to stay with the house. But I just think it really is going to respect that house and shine. I really do. I think it's going to be a great thing. And I think people that stay there will have a great experience because it not only just, even if you just set aside the haunted aspect, the historical side of the home and seeing and staying there is just really cool. So that in itself is going to be really neat for people. And of course, I'm sure with the changes that you make and things, it's going to be really classy. So I'm excited. I know, like I said, and I'm trying to speak for Terry Lynn too. She's excited too. So yeah, I can't wait. I know people, when it gets released, people are going to want to stay there.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't really thought of the history behind the house really until Paranormal Quest came and did a YouTube episode, and Ryan talked about the history and said it was older than the formation of the United States. And I hadn't really I hadn't put that together, but it actually is. It put things in a whole different perspective for me. As far as the haunted house, when we did that, we're very respectful.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, there was a ramp up in activity during that, and people have talked about the children touching them, and one lady said that the best part about it was the kids that took her hands and led her through a room, and then they just disappeared, and it was really creepy, and she didn't know where they went, but I needed to get them some hot hands because their little hands were so cold, and it was a friend of a friend. She had told her to come and check it out, and I said, she called me and she said, "No kids, is there?" And I said, "No." We did have a lot of paranormal activity during the haunted house. It seemed to ramp up, but it wasn't bad. It was kind of mischievous, but I did experience something, and I was up in the air about the B&B until my sister and I come in. Once I had decided, no more haunted house, and we were going to go ahead and do extensive full repairs. We were talking about it at the front door as we're walking through. We got to the hallway, right there where that red couch is in the hallway. I mean, maybe 20, 30 feet into the house, if that, probably 15 or 20 feet. And while we were talking, and we stopped to take a breath, and I was going to cut the air conditioning on, and we heard a woman go, I was like, okay, I guess that's our go ahead that this is safe, because apparently Betsy's approving the B&B.
Yeah. Now listen, folks, if you're watching this and if you ever want to reminisce on the haunted house or anything like that, I have like 3 or 4 videos that I filmed there. I actually filmed myself going through the haunted house. Now, a lot of it's my reaction, but we did a live location there. We also spent 2 nights there. One night, myself, my wife, and son, and the second night I spent alone. And we definitely got some activity, some good dowsing rod sessions, communicate with some spirits. So, guys, if you really want to see any of that, just search through my videos in the history and look for Nickerson Sneed. So I just wanted to make sure I shouted out that for you guys. So if you want to visualize or see or experience like some of the stuff that she's talking about, there you go. So we'll have that immortalized in there. So that's good. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the haunted house part of it. Not really in a sense because I don't like scary things. So in that, which is weird. I know I'm a ghost hunter, but things that make me jump. So that's why Terrelyn, in fact, even tonight, I'm going to be probably going live and doing a scary game tonight. I think Terrelyn's got a special game for me. I don't even know what it is, but I'm stressed out about it already. I don't like that. I don't like being made to jump, and she loves to watch me freak out about it. So anyways, all right. So So we're looking at the B&B. You said that's going to be up and running on Nickerson Sneed. So what is people? What do you think that they're going to experience? What's some of the things that have normally been experienced in the past, and do the spirits seem to? You said they kind of gave you a little bit of approval. Have there been any stir of activity while doing some renovations?
There has. There's we took out a wall in the hallway, and so Douglas Mason was, I think, 8 when he died. He was kicked in the head by a horse, and he died there at the foot of the steps in the back hallway when it was a porch. And there had been a wall there to cover up floor jacks, this huge floor jacks. And my sister said, "You need to put a bookcase here," because she saw this cool, I think it was on Facebook, bookcase that was built into the side of a staircase. And I said, well, I wanted to do a library here anyway. This is perfect. We put this wall down because it had blocked the view it was right up beside the banisters of the stair. And then there was a window. So when you looked out that window in that one dining room, you should be able to see out onto the porch and out into the yard. No, all you saw was this stupid wall. I hated that wall. So we took that wall down. So Misty Connor was there a couple weeks ago, and her and I stayed all night because we had an event the next day. We had psychic readings the next day. And right before bed, she said, "I'll freak you out, but I just saw a little boy between the rails, the banisters there." And I said, "What?" And see through those banisters again, because who knows how long that stupid wall's been up there. So we have had some, it's not been bad. It's been curious activity, wanting to know what's going on. So every time we have some kind of curious activity, I'll explain, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is why we're doing it. Just kind of, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no, that's awesome though. And like I said, I do wish you luck on all that. Folks, we're going to start to kind of wind down here at the last little bit. So if you guys have any last minute questions you want to get in on the chat, go ahead and try to get them in real soon. Cause like I said, we're getting toward the end of the show. So anything that you want to ask Ronda or anything, feel free to ask, or if you have questions just in general for paranormal or witchcraft or any of that stuff, get it in there. We definitely want to let you guys know that. So Stacy's mic thing is so loud. You're like, what? You're like, it's like it sounds like an air conditioner coming out. You're like whenever you turn it on now.
Well, I don't want to. For whatever reason, Ronda comes in a lot clearer whenever I mute my mic, and I don't want to be sitting here
right.
Just having the mic on for no reason when I'm not talking. She's the one that's talking, so.
Yeah, I think somehow the StreamYard is trying to mix like your mic and hers or whatever, and it's like I don't know what it is, but I see you see me popped in there. Boo. It's good to see you. I'm glad you made it into the show at the very end, so you'll definitely have to go back. Sometimes she's always late to the show. That's okay. No big deal. We still love you. So yeah, definitely go back and watch the beginning because we had a lot of cool stuff, and Ronda said some pretty neat things about this film, which I'm excited. So folks, let's start summarizing here. Season of the Witch, Amazon Prime. Go watch it for sure. Especially, again, I think you're really going to enjoy it. I'm looking forward to it. Stacey's already gave his opinion on it, so I can't wait for that to happen. Now, Ronda, where can people reach you if like they want to know more from you, or maybe they may want to seek you for some help? Like where do you send people and say, hey, here's where you can find me the most?
The absolute best place to find me is to give me a personal message on Facebook. Send me a message in Messenger on Facebook. That's the easiest, that's the best way to catch me.
Okay. All right. So there you guys go on that. And Stacy, did you have any last minute questions that you wanted to get into to Rhonda?
No, I mean we covered the gamut. The Sneed house, Nicholson Sneed house, the movie on how that was. Um, that's really what this is all about, is getting people to actually go see this because it is actually quite good. It's not a promotion that you're gonna go, well, why? It's gonna be something that you're gonna learn something. You're gonna walk away from it and be entertained at the same time, because it really does keep you focused on topic while educating you at the same time, which is you know sometimes quite rare in documentaries, because you fall asleep in the first 10 minutes and you're like not really knowing what's going on, but this holds you the whole way. So
Yes. So definitely watch it and give a good review. Terry Lynn said, Rhonda, did you unlock upstairs last time it wasn't accessible? I guess you're talking about the very top, maybe? Or like,
The attic, the attic's not unlocked. But if she's talking about the room on the end, that one will be accessible.
okay. I wonder if that might be what she was talking about then, but yeah. Okay.
We
All
didn't
right.
have it unlocked. It was full of Halloween props, and we're still trying to empty that room out.
I bet.
It was a hoarder room. It was horrible.
Okay. All right. Well, so again, guys, I just want to say again, thank you, Rhonda, for coming on here. I'm so glad you were able to make it on here and discuss your film and a little bit about you and your things in witchcraft. It was a really good time. But folks, remember, again, go see Season of the Witch. I'm going to keep hounding this out there. Go see it. And of course, I think you have a Facebook page for your production company, right? So, and then you're going to be, so if you guys go on there, because again, you can see whatever films in production. They got another film they're working on. So again, as that comes out and any other things that they do, you'll be able to follow that and see that first, right away, get that notification so you can keep up and know right when things are released from them as well, especially if you like Season of the Witch. So guys, thank you so much. And remember, we'll see you next week, and seek the truth.
peace.